So there's this little story that's going on called the Grand Finals right here at the DreamHack Masters Spring 2020. And of course, what happens is G2 coming in with a map advantage, win a map, lose the second one, and now we're set up for an actual series here between Big Clan and that of G2. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Trace, and alongside of me are going to be Pimp and Maniac. We're ready to start talking about the bread and butter of why this one went down the way it did, why it is that Tapson is so insane at the game, and moreover, why it is that Searson and company are able to close it out right here over G2 and almost make them look foolish and silly at some points. Let's talk about it, gentlemen.
Well, where to start? Another one of these absolutely beautiful T-side from Big Clan. And I feel like I've said it already when they played against FaZe, and this was a rinse and repeat scenario here. Not only at the beginning of the round did they come with the right idea most of the times, but the mid-round calling. And I'm going to attribute that to Tapson. I might be wrong. Maybe it's someone else in the team who's actually coming up with the ideas. I'll put that on Tapson for this one time. The mid-round calling was absolutely magnificent. The amount of time that they have outmoved G2 when it's 40 seconds left, and you see Tapson from the vent dropping a smoke to allow Searson to join him with the AWP and the bomb, or when they just slide down and G2 just don't know where they are. It was just stellar, honestly.
It was stellar. Tapson was stellar, not only producing those great in-game leading calls, but 134 ADR against G2, starting on the T side of Nuke. It's just spectacular. We did put up the point that he's maybe one of the best fracking in-game leaders as of right now, and I think he's showcasing it right here. He's so good with all the weapons. He can even play the AWP if needed to be, and as Maniac was saying, like he's just a smart player at this time. So Tapson definitely the guy to look out for. Now, one thing that does annoy me a little bit from G2 is the fact that they must have been preparing for this one. They must have known that Big's T side on Nuke, as of recently, have been looking super good. Last time they were able to shut them down, 11 CT rounds. This time around, they were looking flustered. They even won the pistol round, got off to 3-0, and still just, completely threw that game away out of their hands. So G2, they must be a little bit disappointed, and I think Big, they made them look silly.
Yeah, and when we look at this third map of the series, or I guess technically like the fourth, really, it doesn't matter. We're going to Dust 2. Let's talk about Dust 2 and I guess some of the strengths for both sides. We know that both teams can perform on this map. So what are you thinking, Maniac?
Well, the problem is if you look at the past and when these two teams have met on Dust 2, this could go either way very one-sidedly. There has been super clear results, 16-5, 5-16 on both ends. So it's like a coin flip. I feel like it's a coin flip. What's good is that Big are now activated. Big have officially joined the server. Big have started this grand final. So we are going to have a firework that is 100%. But if I were to be, if I was a gambler, I'm not exactly sure where I'd put my money right now.
No, and I think the biggest, the biggest win condition they got going for them right now is Tapson. The fact that he's playing so well, being the in-game leader on a map like Dust 2 means a lot. You need to be versatile, you need to be feeling out the movement. Tapson is probably going to be the guy running out middle, clearing stuff, and, making those tough decision mid-rounds calls. So if he's feeling it, and if he's hitting his shot, and maybe even does a lot of entry fragging, as he's been doing so far as well, then Tapson is going to be the win condition for Big Clan to make this one work.
But I'm looking at you, Maniac, and I'm sitting here and I'm asking questions about G2. I'm wondering if they can just show up here and make it that lopsided performance. And I think so far we haven't necessarily seen the monster numbers that you would expect out of Nexa or Kenny S.
No, we haven't quite yet, but they're in the boot camp. They're all together. Now is the time to show that they have the resilience. They can bounce back. Sure, they completely missed the mark on Nuke, but you want to be a champion team where you have to do it now. Yeah, you have to do it now. We have to do it now. We're going to go to a break. We're going to come back with Dust 2 and a map that could be G2's and a championship that could be theirs as well. But it's all up for the taking still. Big Clan putting up a fight. Berlin International Gaming in the house, and we will be right back.
Dust 2 is where we find ourselves going into now. Big, they were able to bounce back on Nuke. And Hugo, that's exactly what I wanted. For me, this series got exciting the moment we get to Dust. This is a map that for G2, they looked great on at one point in time. But then, like lately, this curse of them picking into it and losing this map has been something that's felt very, very real, very, very tangible, right? And so it now appearing as this third map of play in the grand final, a map where if G2 pick it up, then they take the win, and a map where if Big pick it up, we go the distance. We get all the maps. We get everything we possibly can. And so Dust 2 now carries so much weight for this G2 squad. Can they depend on it?
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? Can either team depend on it? Because it's just been so inconsistent. This matchup at G2 Big, not just here, but in the past, has always been weirdly one-sided and inconsistently the winner. It's just always been like dominant wins, 16-5, 16-6s, and the first two maps of this series hold true to that as well. Will we have another dominant victor, and who will the victor be? Are the big questions that we have to wait and see. Big. I like this play. It's something Liquid do a lot. Puts this in that Xbox smoke. He's going to bail, though. He won't hang around forever as G2 come in from lower tunnels. Lots of utility for G2. Tizian spotting the first. Can't afford to go down here as he's one of the two men with util and the kit as well. Searson flashed up on Catwalk. Big's flashes have been inconsistent at best as taps and blinds Searson there, and he will go down. There have been some great flashes. There have also been some huge issues with the util. Right now, G2 will take that advantage as they often do and sit back, relax, wait for Big to make any mistakes before they commit to this cat take.
tabseN inside this site. He's going to have his work cut out for him. Tizian is at car and can offer supportive flashbangs to help tabseN out. However, two players have already dropped into CT, and tabseN wasn't able to deal with Kenny, but Tizian, what? How's he managed that? He just picks up 3. We don't catch any of them, but there were players in CT. There were players on Cat. Tizian should have been dead to rights. He doesn't even have armor. He gets 4 in the pistol. And Big, they turn that around. That was 3 on 5 for the Big clan.
Let's look at this.
Look at this, right? 1, 2, oh, and a third. Man, that is disgusting. Tizian, he certainly seems to believe in the Big squad as he secured them this pistol round to get Dust 2 off to a good start.
Yeah, they have their backs turned to car, which, you know, typically, even if you don't have the util to clear car, like a molly from long, you're going to spam it with your AKs. But because it's the pistol, G2 only have Glocks. They can't spam the car. It won't do anything. So, yeah, it's a great position to hide behind. You have good cover. You're not going to get mollied out, and you certainly can't get spammed. So the spot for the pistol play as Tizian comes in clutch. Fast play for G2 is pretty standard. No util, no investment at all. And they're going to run up Cat to try and get this bomb planted. Good luck, though. Made mincemeat by Big. You'll often see CT teams just trying to give these fights up and tuck back on long, go for scout shots at the car before conceding the bomb plant. But I like the Big, you know, read into the economy there. They know that G2 haven't forced with, you know, Deagle armor. They don't have to respect them. And as a result, they take every fight and deny the bomb plant. This buy coming through regardless, but lacking the AWP as a result of that money. But Big, I mean, they're running bonus as well, so it's not pretty for them either. If they win this round, they get huge upgrades from G2's economy.
Oh, yeah, Searson's trying his hand at this mid-aggression with the scout. Searson's a scary scout player, like he really is. So, you know, G2, they still have to be careful, even though it is the AWP's baby brother down here in mid. G2 setting up over here towards Catwalk and Long. Amanek is down in the lower tunnels, but he's not sticking around. He's rotating up into middle. This is looking like it wants to culminate in another one of these A plays, and tabseN going aggressive. That nade is going to find some good damage early on in this round. G2, they're not exactly leaving Big guessing at this point, right? Like Big, this, you like to think for tabseN, this has been a pretty easy one thus far. It's like, okay, they've only gone for cat takes, and here in their first buy round, they're looking like they want to go for another cat take. Now that smoke might change things up a little bit as Amanek hopped on down. But the problem is you don't have any tunnels control. And so for G2, this isn't a case where, you know, they can just bail out on a whim and head towards this B site. And now matters get made even worse with Tizian pushing long, dealing with Jax, and getting away with an AK. G2 going to try and flash these players out through the catwalk, and Searson is the man responsible with dealing with this CT push. Oh. He's going to nail the shot on a Nexa, and G2, they bottlenecked at Cat. They've had to stop. The kills just aren't presenting themselves. Amanek's got to do it all on this long wrap. He gets the first, spots Searson, but isn't able to land the killing blow, and Searson's there to put him down at the very, very end. Big, they take that third round. They best the full buy of G2. And that was a bonus round for Big. There were SMGs in play. Yeah. But the best rifle, I think, was a FAMAS. The Scout nails 2. The MP9 manages to get 1 as well. Like, that there is a round that's huge for Big to have picked up in the fashion that they do.
the 2 kills that make all the difference there are Tizian getting aggressive, killing the man at long, which denies a double long setup for G2, which they wanted to have. Amanek comes in later as a result, far too late to have any impact other than a kill, which, well, has no impact. And also the scout shot, the headshot to Nexa in spawn. If that's a body tag from Searson, Nexa gets away with a kill on the ramp, undoubtedly, and G2 can cause chaos in that site. But Searson, what a quick shot, and for it to connect to the head with the scout as well, that had to happen. That needed to happen there for Big. So Searson does everything we need and more. He's got the AWP as well. He's got the reward of winning that round. Definitely going to keep our eyes on that as it sits on long currently. G2 taking more mid control. The bomb in tunnels this time. They can go for a mid to B with the util they have, but that's a good grenade. Dropping Jax early. G2, they've left tons. They've gone back towards middle. Seems like Hunter's going to pop flash them out through the doors, but you can see Big, they get a kill and they fall back. They play standard setups. They don't go aggressive and give G2 a way back in. Tizian's going to get smoked off in spawn, and Xantares can just pivot from the window, assisting into middle.
Tizian's going to get smoked off. Now this B site getting pressured. Xantares isn't able to stand his ground, and this player at tunnels just gets tapped down by the tech on Amanek. Amatek more like, am I right? Hunter over here at short side looking for this frag on attack. Oh. The Tech 9s are just doing damage. It's a 3-on-3, but just barely. And there's still a like Amanek is 2 HP, and he's just flinging around the map, taking these fights with an MP9. Big, they're gonna save. They back out of the round. That is devastating. That is a horrible way for this B site to fall apart. And G2, they go, guys, why are we even playing Catwalk when we can just walk into B with Tech 9s and own the site in this fashion?
I mean, yeah,
Xantares,
he gets no kills from the window, but not all his fault, right? Amanek runs through the door Molotov with a tech and kills Xantares immediately. Like, that's the first kill there for G2 into B, and they just, like, you know, snowball in off the back of that frag. So pushing the molly is crazy here, but on an eco round, it provides so much. You see Xantares doesn't even consider it, and yeah, he doesn't even see Amanek, who follows up, by the way, and even escapes in tunnels. We saw him jump away with 2 HP there. If he doesn't escape, if he gets shot in that cross, Big go for the rounds because they have a man advantage, but him just surviving and escaping the tunnels keeps G2 in control. And oh no, Big only have 1B. G2 are setting up with 5 in tunnels. If they commit here, this could be awful.
They want to go for it. Keito nails the first shot with the AWP, and Xantares follows up. At this point, with a man advantage, Xantares doesn't have to keep taking these peaks if he doesn't want to. Hunter gets burnt out by the molly. They hear this, and Searson, as a result, finds him. Xantares was flashed in, and they're trying to deny this bomb plant. They do that. Kenny falls, and Big, they send a bit of a stern reminder, like, yeah, okay, you might have cheesed a B round past the keeper, but we're not going to let it happen the second time around. We call them the B keepers for a reason, and they're going to stop G2 buzzing around that site anytime soon.
Yeah, B International Gaming, I think is what their name stands for, right, Harry? The B is in the bomb site. I'm sure of it. I'm confident. But yeah, locking it down. At least Xantares was there in time. He comes in with an early rotate because G2 went silent. And that is the danger on a map like Dust. If you go silent in the opening 20 seconds, it's almost obvious if Big play the way they do, right? They had long info, they had mid info. Well, where can they be? Tunnels or T-spawn. So yeah, Big pretty aware, pretty predictable. And G2 back to pistols should surely be a 5th round for Big, although I say that G2's 1 round is one with similar weaponry. Up Cat they go. 2 flashes on Kenny, can pop them around the corner, but not only do we have Searson, who's really warmed into this series well, but Tabson as well in the elevator, ready to stop them.
Ooh, they get out short. That nade is going to really do some damage, and it just annihilates Kenny. Searson following up. Headshots Jax through the box. Good luck getting that bomb plant, G2. Big, a 5th round on the board. They deal with the eco well. Now, Kenny's got money for an AWP. He's finally going to get to don the big green gun, and maybe that makes all the difference here for G2.
Yeah, but this is what we've been waiting for. Everything available, AWP on Kenny and G2. They may be down, but they're not out. They want to make this one competitive. They want to pick up their map pick, which is, you know, crazy to see them picking it, as we know the history of this team with Dust. But the grand final. This is where all your performance should be coming through, but Big have had every answer. Amanek has to smoke the molly. He's lost almost all of his health. A grenade would kill him, but he again ducks, darts, weaves, dives, however you want. He gets out of there alive. Big with a double setup on long. This is a well-timed boost as Tizian gets up top, but it should give away the fact that tabseN is also here. He'll back up from the corner. Tizian can do so much here as G2 will not be expecting a player in this off angle.
Ooh, smoke fading. Tizian only good for one. Kenny gets that trade. tabseN here. Gonna get flashed, but he turns away. syrsoN responding with a flash of his own. Has to step up now. It gets Kenny off the angle just for a moment, but no kill is found for syrsoN on this AWP. G2, they're gonna mix things up a bit now. They leave long. They rotate away and they look to hit this B bomb site. Amanek has been patiently holding on to these tunnels all round long. And so this kind of felt like it was maybe not the game plan, but it was definitely the fallback, right? Like if things don't go your way at long, if you don't get all these kills and you encounter resistance, you can go B. But to get into B, you got to get past Keto, and that might be easier said than done. The Molotov's missed, and Keto puts up a second before Kenny gets that trade. Jax and Kenny S coming into this B bomb site. Xantares is on a very lengthy rotation all the way through T-spawn. And so syrsoN, really, he couldn't afford to lose that fight because now it's left Xantares in a 1v2. And while he is wrapping the tunnels a little bit faster than G2 might expect, this is something they're surely going to be ready for now that that bomb is planted and there's two crosshairs in the site able to hold down these angles. Xantares in with the peak, damage onto Jax, and now just Kenny left to be. Oh, he's got up and over. Missed shot from Kenny, but Xantares was blind. He's going to flash himself back in, tries it again, baits the shot. Oh, but Kenny's going to nail it the third time around. G2, they just about get that round on the board, and it's Kenny S doing his Kenny best to deliver with the AWP.
You can see Malik in the background of Kenny's camp freaking out there as well. Oh, did you see that opening shot from Kenny?
Yeah, that's wild.
Can we replay that as well, maybe later on? Because that was mad. He actually wallbanged the boosted player, I think it was Tizian, up on the boxes without seeing him. So yeah, great round for Kenny. You can see Malik freaking out. This must mean a lot to G2 right now. They want this BO5, and they're going to try and take it fast and furious. Xantares so flashed out, he cannot see a thing. Not a bullet connecting. Jax overwhelms Keto, who is just as bright too, and guns gifted over to the Mac 10ers in B. G2 running the board in this round. Oh my, it just gets better and better. Or worse and worse, depends which side of the boat you're on. Nexa will eventually be dropped, but Big are going to get away with a couple of guns at the very least, by the looks of things, trying to blow the AWP closer, or an AK rather. Whatever gun that was, it's not going to get much further with the HE. Amanek is here to clear it up. And while Big want nothing to do with it, they say you're welcome to it. Smoking off the doorway and trying to get away with their weaponry. Giving G2 3 though, and at least back and forth to begin the game. Harry, that's the one thing we've not had in either of these two maps, right? G2, they dominate the first half of Vertigo 10-5. Big, they fire back in the second. They lead 8-3 with 8 rifle rounds in a row before G2 even win their first. Finally, we have one that's looking back and forth, at least at the start.
And there won't be an investment around these guns for Big. syrsoN and tabseN have got to do it all. And G2, they love B, man. They love B. And you can't say you blame them. Keto's here to hold it with a USP. So good luck, pal. I'm really not favoring him here. syrsoN actually does get rid of Kenny through the door as he tries to survive the cross. Now, smokes have come in for G2. Xantares tries to go in through the window, and that's to his demise. Already the save calls come in. It's critical that syrsoN gets away, and he doesn't. Amanek's having a stellar start to this this map.
I love the B rushes from G2. I love that call, right? We saw this the other day. I can't remember. I think it was the FaZe Na'Vi game. Maybe you can remind me. Where we just saw, I remember it being FaZe just running B plays in like 4 rounds in a row to close the map, when they just couldn't do anything else. They had no answers, they had no ideas, everything was getting countered, and then they just like chain ran B plays until the game ended, and that CT side they're up against never stacked B, because they kept assuming, like G2 did in that round, by the way, they put just Keto there, and they assume they just B rush. They're not going to do it again, that's too obvious. No, that's exactly what G2 are going to do again, because it's so obvious. And Now the mind games begin. When you do it 2 in a row, the big question for Big here is, do they do it 3 in a row? Surely not, right? That's where I think these Dust 2 games get really interesting, when you're pivoting between the early long control, the immediate B executes. And it's just constantly a gamble on where do your players go out of spawn. What do Big want to do? G2 not going to be committing to the rush this time. They do send players towards B, as so do Big. So a double B rotation with a mid support. It will leave long lacking, but it's not like G2 are exploiting that position. Not yet, at least.
One of the things that we spoke about a lot earlier on, right, with in regards to this series, is that these two teams have met each other already. And when in that series, G2 picked it up, but the one map that Big were able to take away was Dust 2. And so they're looking to continue riding on that high. Sears had flashed off, does delete Jax, Tizian here, and the flash from Searson is good. With that kill, he's dropped the bomb out into the open. Kenny's trying to maneuver through these smokes, and he snatched the bomb away. Well, sneaky Kenny S has retrieved the package and now sets G2 up in a 3-on-5 to at least give this round a go. If that bomb stayed at long, the round was pretty much over.
Yeah. Amanek was looking for a B pick. He was trying to get one, because if he did, he could open it up for that bomb to rotate in. But now G2, they don't get it. They have to go at it a different way through the middle area. Keto close, and a man in the spawn rotating in. It's Tabson, not the man you want to be fighting here if you're G2, but you don't have a choice in the 5-on-3. Nice teamwork there, finding Keto in the middle. And now they know there's a max 1 B player left, so they swap positions. They leave Amanek there, and Kenny and Hunter go wrapping through the tunnels. Xantares hiding from that position. It's smoked right now. G2 20 seconds. They can't wait forever. Tizian's in T-spawn. Big know exactly what's going on, but they don't know about the lurk. Amanek's dropped a man in middle. G2 gonna have to go. The Molotov is perfect. Xantares can't move, but he won't burn out. He won't die, and they might think this position is clear. It couldn't be further from the truth. Hunter with the check, and that is so important. It allows the bomb plant, but the flank is so fast. Kenny doesn't hear it, and now it's a 2-on-2.
Ooh, Tizian, second kill in the round, and it all falls onto Amanek. Searson nails the shot, and he deals with the lurk player. Chance at a double AWP as well, and Big are going to take that with them into this follow-up round. So Tizian delivering on this flank. He has been stepping up in spades in this game, man. Like, you know, we look at this Big squad, and often the talking points, and I think rightfully so, is Searson's AWP, right? Tabson obviously is like the high fragging, high flying IGL. And then the other kind of guy that we speak to in regards to firepower is Xantares. Normally, Tizian is kind of often left out of that conversation. And right now, he's showing that he shouldn't be. He's been putting up some stellar plays, not just here on Dust, but even thinking back to Nuke. His presence in the hut into that A bomb site were instrumental in that big T half. So he's having a great series. He is stepping up when it matters most, and that round there is no exception.
Tizian's like one of the most underrated players in the German scene, I think. Like, you know, he's such a good pistol player. He's such a good clutcher. He'll take the hard rolls. He'll play bomb sites on his own. And he's just so smart. And I think he's a really, really good player in this Big team. So I was glad when Big did make changes. They get rid of Nex. I'm glad Tizian wasn't included in that move, because I think he's really helped Big get on the map and get to where they are as a unit. 6-4 up right now. Big in control, but certainly not out of the woods, as G2 once again look to put the pressure on early. 3 towards B with no one committing. Long take will be had. Kenny's actually out and about with the smoke, and Big can't stop him. It's a run through the doors from G2. Dangerous at best, and Jax will trade for 1. That will at least keep the B players occupied for a good bit of time. G2 peeling away from Long and going back to a late round cat take.
This is good for G2 though, right? They've set such a precedent of these B plays that Big aren't going to afford an extra rotation around. And so as a result of deleting this man down in middle, you know that these rotations into the A site are going to be a long way away. So they try and hit this site with some pace. Amanek drops into CT to try and cut off these rotations. And this is something he's been very proficient at for G2. There's a minute left and they slow right down. However, you're not in a position where you can change your mind here if you're G2. They try and get back out of Cat, and in doing so, they throw themselves into the firing line. Next, they're in a 1v3. And with Keto holding down mid, this should be impossible. Nexter, this is such a horrible round to try and navigate. Now, there are 2 CT players for Big. Tizian holding CT while the rest of Big spread themselves out across either bomb site. This gives Nexa a bit of room to maneuver into this A side of the map. He's creeping up through Catwalk, and Big, they're completely discounting this right now. Now, even if he gets a bomb plant, it's still a far cry from picking up a round, right? Searson holding long, he's playing this position, and he can set up for a retake with the rest of his team. Nexa, deeper than Searson was ready for, and he taps him out of the round after sneaking underneath that crosshair. However, Tizian, fast up through short, represents a bit of a problem for Nexa, who gets blindsided.
That's a really nice try from Nexa. I love it. The stall, the late play, Searson going back to check long because he's a solo A player. That was really, really nice. And you can see the game plan there. Big didn't fall for it at all, and that's crucial, right? Dropping a player into CT spawn, that's a G2 classic. Jax was dead early, but they often put him in that position. And then G2 try and pull back from Catwalk, knowing Big have left B, and hoping that that mid player, or that CT player can kill a mid player, and they can go back into a B play. But Xantara's crucial kill from the backline in middle. He doesn't fall for Kenny's rotation. And yeah, G2 clear up that CT player, or Big clear up that CT player as well. So nice stuff. Nexa gives it a go. He at least gets money for G2, which actually is super important considering Kenny's now got the AWP from that bomb plant. You wouldn't have had it otherwise. So armed and dangerous, but still the rounds in favor of Big. Kenny's going to hit the cross shot to tag tabseN. But ever since that back-to-back B rush for G2, Big have run the same setup, which is double B and one up in middle. If G2 start working this one out, they can fast cat. They can start to try and throw a spanner in the works, because right now they're just running their same default, and Big have just been in this exact same setup for 5 or so rounds now. This is one that does favor the cat take while you throw mid to B smokes, because you know you can keep tabseN adopted in the middle area, and therefore only Searson can be able to stop that short cross. But you know, he has been very good at that. He has been strong on the AWP, and he looks to make that so again.
Oh, this decision to go aggressive. It's either going to make or break this round, and he catches Hunter setting up utility. Now falling back, and he's been given precious time to get back into this A site and just go through the motions on this AWP. He'll remove another man. The flashes are good. They're denying Searson these repeats. Oh, but he's in with a third. The moment the flash is clear, Searson continues to light up this scoreboard. He knows that Kenny is trapped at Gandalf, and Searson is on for the ace. He doesn't get it. Amanek denies that ace, but Tizian comes in with the trade immediately after, and Big, they continue to look so good on this CT side. Everyone's stepping up in spades right now. And that was such like a high risk, high reward play from Searson. And getting that kill, it just throws the entire take into disarray. Yeah. And the fact that he's given so much time to get back into ramp causes so many problems for G2, right? Like Searson, he can just keep taking these swings on the back of the flashes from long. And G2, they have no response to it.
In back-to-back cat rounds, Big have been aware, firstly, that G2 are on cat, but have, as a result of that awareness, swapped tabseN and Searson's positions both times, putting Searson on the site with the AWP. And the fact that he's able to reposition before G2 commit, not only pick out Hunter from the group, but also just, you know, play a classic AWP on Dust 2, just sit on that A site and swing it around the boxes and get kills. Like, that's something that means Big know when G2 are committing, and G2 have not really been faking anything out. They've not been getting Big in the wrong positions. They've not been adjusting this default setup, and none of the standard things that we often see from G2 on this map are happening. Maybe that's a case of, you know, them knowing the Big know their game plan and have done their homework, but also just the rounds aren't being won by G2. I'd love to see more aggressive cat takes, dropping Jax into CT, faking the mid to B. None of that has been happening here for G2, not at least in the early round, right? They often scramble in 3-on-3s, 3-on-4s, and throw that utility. But Big, when you're in an advantage like that, when at a 4-on-3, you don't need to heavy rotate. You don't need to gamble. You can just stick 2-2 and wait for the bomb plant. And that's really what Big have been doing. Once again, this time tabseN is leaning even further to B. This is the first time we've seen that in a while. He's often been on the CT side of things. So this is a good round for G2 to hit cat, but Searson, as said, always a nuisance, always considering it, rotates back to the car, and now he's watching.
Oof. Well, Jax there, he made the call, like, guys, I'm out in mid. They don't know. I'm about to do something sick. And G2, they actually started to peel off of Catwalk. And they don't realize it, but if they do try and go for the B play here, which certainly looks like it's something they're considering, then they're walking into the most stacked site. They think they've done something smart, and really they've played into the hands of Big. It's a little bit ugly for Tabson, and still not that getting very pretty as he is still alive, just about. And G2 going to go back up into the catwalk, but to their death. Kenny on B5, they're going to dream, and it's not going to happen, is it? Searson nails the shot. It's another round for Big, showing absolutely no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, it looked like for a second that Xantares didn't know that a play across mid, even though it was spotted. But luckily, yeah, Tabson on that boost spot, able to deal with it nice and easily. And this is just great. This is a fantastic CT side from Big. They're putting a stop to everything G2 do. They're not playing aggressive, not giving away picks. And G2 are really struggling to get into this game right now. T-sided start has not left them with a lot. They've had 2 opening kills in this entire map. We're 14 rounds deep. Let's see if they can find a third. Fast up Cat. This is a good pace from G2. And the little boost from Amanek, I like that as well. Gets him around the corner even faster and would have offset an AWP if there was one. There's not. It's back on the cross. Searson looking to put a stop to this once again.
Yeah, they dump all this utility, but the real goal is not looking like this Cat play. And I thought maybe we were going to see someone like Amanek drop into CT, but that's not the decision that's made. He just reroutes back into middle. Tabson gets one through the smoke. Now Xantares has to make a stand, and here in the window, they'll put up one, but that's it for him. Keto removing both players that try and get in through the window, and this leaves Amanek 1v4, looking for the fight onto Tabson, but he's not able to find it. 10 rounds for Big. They reach double digits, and this grand final, oh, it's heating up now.
Yeah,
This
Keto,
is so dominant from Big.
Keto sat at the back of B doing nothing for about 6 rounds now, and he finally sees an opponent, right? He finally gets a chance to play in, and, you know, good patience, just waiting. Xantares dead, Keto trades, and G2, the fast drop down to a mid to B. I like that idea, but again, the missed smoke in middle. Tabson, he was drawn over to A from the wrong side of middle, you know, because of G2's Cat utility, but then there's a gap in the smoke, and he just shoots through it. He gets an advantage, and even though G2 dropped the smoke after that kill, it just feels like every round G2 is starting a man down or committing with you know, a 4-on-5, and that makes everything so much harder as Big win the trade game like they often do. Really well poised in this matchup. 1 round left of the half. A fast play up Cat. A quick one indeed. There's no hope to stop it. Tizian has to. He's up to 14 kills. He's having a great game, and he's got as much HP as well. The plant already put down for G2. I haven't seen a bomb plant in a century for this team, but they will get it done. Searson's playing retake on long. Tabson's coming from the spawn. Amanek's made noise, and Keto might have heard it here. He might be able to swing this with the Deagle and keep Big up by a man once again for the retake.
Oh, Kenny gets deleted back in the site. It's Nexa and Hunter, the 2 last hopes for G2. Xantares up through the ramp is flashed in by Searson. And now a 2v1. Hunter has had a pretty uncharacteristically quiet game here on Dust. This would be the clutch to win. They tap the bomb, they bait the shot. Hunter swings wide and does get the kill. I don't think there's any time now. I think Hunter has secured a 5th round at the very, very least. 5-10, G2, they take the last in this first half, but is that going to be enough? Big, they're trying to take us the distance. They're trying to take us to Mirage, that final map. And this series is heating up, so you do not want to miss it. We'll be back with the second half of Dust 2 after a quick break.
Whatever to help you. Baby, let me take your pain and hold you with the broken. I would do whatever to free you.
Well,
15.
well.
Whoa, no, after
Hugo.
you, Harry.
Hey there,
After
darling.
you.
I didn't realize you were going to be the
Whoa.
one taking this. Look, man, I just wanted to say we promised everyone a big G2 Grand Final, and that's what we're getting right here. This is a series that's set to go the distance. Despite the one map advantage for G2, Big have fought tooth and nail to get this map going their way, and in a very dominant fashion at that. 10-5 right now in favor of Big, beginning their T side and a pistol round. If they manage to get this locked in, they could look to take us the full distance here.
Yes, indeed, Harry. Yes, indeed. Big out long. G2 have gambled. I like the triple cap, but unfortunately for them, as Big did the same setup in the pistol round, it's not going to work. There's no one here, and Nex is going to need to turn around pretty soon. If Big do what they like to do and play contact, that's going to be really annoying for G2. But luckily enough, Util's going over the top. That CT smoke gives it all away, really, and a flash will follow. Ooh, that smoke bounces hard. I think it still did land, and it's going to come in late, but Big are committing. Nexa with some flashbangs, smoke's already down, but right now G2 are conceding the site. Kenny is the only one who wants to risk his life to fight for it, and it might be worthwhile when the flash from Big comes at a perfect time. Keto with one, jacks through the smoke, a pistol king indeed. He's got two, he can't find three. Keto's done exactly that and more, and Hunter and Amanek now in a 2-on-2.
Yeah, well, we see a smoke. G2 see a doorway to turning this pistol around. Two players push through and they find a lot. Big, they're trying to sneak away. They're trying to get out of the A site, but I don't think G2 are going to let them leave.
Oh.
Hunter comes up the ramp and secures the round. Big, yeah, they try and like run away to change their mind and go back towards B. I like the idea, right? But it just doesn't work in practice, especially not with Hunter already being so close. The fact that he gets that kill at ramp and then they still try and sneak away is a bit of a mystery to me.
I like the idea of escaping, right? They're just trying to throw something new in there. They're trying to get around G2, and maybe if G2 spent too long setting up or had a long flank, for example, that could have worked. But yeah, I mean, not the end of the world. However, it could be a chance for G2 to get back into this game, Harry. They just continue to find pistols. That is, well, Big won their first pistol of the series in the opening half of this map, but that is another pistol. Add it to the trophy cabinet for G2. They got 5 out of 6 in the series. Now they got SMGs in the second round of the half. Big are forced up as they often are, but with no bomb plant, it's come down to a Galil and Deagles with a Scout and Searson, although pretty apt gun for him. Cheeky little yump boost around the corner for Big. What's G2 setup? Pretty similar to that of Big's as well, running double B early as you often would be against low economy rounds. Leaving mid, but Hunter keeping an eye on it off of timing, and G2, or sorry, Big rather, they're going to set up outside and long with 2 on the catwalk, flashing into this position and taking it late.
Ooh, Jax's MP9. I thought it was going to get away with a bit more there as it shreds the first man in. They weren't able to follow up. And so now for G2, they try and aggress onto Cat, but
wow.
Oh, dearie me. Xantares and Tizian, they wrecked the 2 short players that were trying to get aggressive, and now Big sit in a 4-on-2. Tizian even landing a bit of chance damage in through the smoke, and G2, do they even want to attempt this one? It feels like they have more to lose than to gain for going for it. And Tizian, with his pesky Deagle, brings Amanek down very, very low. Isn't able to find the kill, but that really does solidify the save at this point for the G2 squad. They're trying to get this M4 out, but the M4 doesn't survive, and Amanek's UMP is like barely even worth saving. The real object of desire there was holding on to that M4, and Tizian's not missing a beat.
Yeah, this is the same issue that G2 had in the last map, rather, which locked them out of winning Nuke, locked them out of any chance to make that game competitive. They get 4 rounds in the CT side, they win the pistol, all things are looking good. G2 have a great pistol round, and then they lose to Xantares with 3 kills, forced down on B in the second. Well, Xantares, he's done it again, Harry. Forced Deagle kills up on the A site, finding it with Tizian, and locking G2 out of the round. And now, you know, now it's easy to say, well, this map might be done, or, you know, Big have a very good shot of closing it out before G2 get back into control. The money isn't there. The rounds are going to be really up against G2 before they hit their first rifle, and Big have just done everything they need to make this as difficult as it gets for G2. And I don't know if they're up for the task, right? On their map pick on Dust 2, on a map that has been, has given and has mostly taken away from this French team. It's going to be a hard-fought battle. Mirage is the final map of this series. That's where Big are trying to get us there, and they're trying to get us there fast.
Hunter's got his work cut out for him. The flashes just leave him completely blinded, and Keto hopping into the site makes quick work of him. Searson trying to hold down the flank with this scout. Oh, it's not the ideal weapon for the range, but he's making it work. This scout in Searson's hands is so gross. And Nexa, while he does get that kill, it's ultimately meaningless for the G2 side. He's trying to retreat, and Big, they're even hunting him. Like, he's got nothing to offer. Like, he's literally just trying to stay alive with the Deagle, and Zantares takes the position at Car and just waits for the kill to present itself. I love Hugo. I don't know about you, right? But I have a lot of fond memories of like the German teams with Deagles, and I love that is staying true to form, man. These Deags have been a turning point time and time again for Big, and now they sit with a pretty significant lead under their belt. There's still no money for G2, and so a 13th round should be a guarantee at this point.
Yeah, you have strong Deagles on a German team that you add Zantares into. Well, Harry, that's barely fair on the rest of us. How are we supposed to compete? How are G2 supposed to compete? Well, they're not. Big are not letting them, and Big have they've rumbled G2 in this round. G2 push mid, but one lurker in the form of Zantares throws a molly in B, and that noise alone, be it the only utility noise in the map, well, that draws G2 in. They send 4 players lower, and they realize the error of their ways. Now, if anything, them being delayed on this flank is good, as it means no one is going to see it from Big. They're going to miss the timings. Zantares is late, and so G2 are even later. That's good to be in the backline, but Big are about to realize when they get the A site for free, they're going to go, wait, where are G2? They've got to be behind us, and that's exactly where they are. Nice shot from Searson. One more on the catwalk, but the triple flank is being held. Oh. Get him out of here, Tizian.
Yeah, he's padding these stats. He loves it. He's trying to bomb the HLTV rating up, and he's giving it his damnedest. He finished the round off, Big 13-6. And now, bye round for G2. And what could be one of their only bye rounds here in the second half of play if it doesn't go their way. The pressure is really on now more than ever.
Well, this is it. Do or die for G2, essentially, right? Mirage round the corner if this one doesn't get picked up by G2. Big looking to take us the full distance in this BO5. And honestly, against all odds as well, Harry, right? Like, oh, I love this from Searson. Pushing through. What a mad lad. Brokey did the same for FaZe the other day. Just out of nowhere. No flash. Nothing to give away the fact that you're doing it. And Searson gets away with the kill. He almost finds a second on the jump as well. Searson's holding for the long aggression. It's not going to be the gun for the job, but he's done damage. If he can just get a kill here before he dies, that could be huge, but a bit... Brilliant grenade from Nexa will respond, Harry.
Yes, indeed. Bit of a tongue twister. And Tabson's not in the business of twisting tongues. He's in the business of locking down the A-bomb site. Now, this leaves Hunter and Jax in this 2-on-4 that they're likely not even going to attempt. Like, Jax is still at long, but he's not in a position where he can do anything. And so he's going to try and fall out of the round. Hunter is holding onto this M4 in mid, but Big, they've been very proactive in trying to take these guns away, right? They're not giving G2 these situations where they're able to keep the pressure on and they're able to keep reinvesting on the back of saving weapons, because Big just don't give you that privilege. They hunt them down. And in this round, once again, a man who's been synonymous with hunting these saving players down is Zantares. This guy, he deserves the in-game name of Hunter, because that's exactly what he's been doing. Oh, Searson dies with the bomb, so you love to see it. He didn't want to give the AWP over.
Yeah. Screw it. Big have money. They have leads. They don't care. They can buy it up again, Harry, and they're in full control of this game right now. So honestly, not really a worry, as funny as that is. Kenny, wow, that's his perspective. He doesn't even get a chance. He doesn't get a play into the round. Probably wasn't expecting such a quick peek as mid was left open, and Big have looked like legends on this map, destructive at best. And also, Harry, I'd like to mention before this map likely ends, this is kept up, as it often does, when Big and G2 face each other, in that the maps are always dominant. the only time these guys have been competitive are on Inferno games, both times where like the losing team gets 12 rounds. With the exception of that, every matchup for these guys has been 16-5, 16-6, 16-7, no higher than that. So that's kind of weird. It's not consistent. You don't see that in any other kind of matchups, but here we go. It's providing a hell of a game. It's providing highs and lows. And I think one thing that holds true as well is if Big close this game out in a dominant fashion, they're going to have the momentum from back-to-back dominant wins going into Mirage, the fifth and the final map of the series. If Big have momentum in their shoulders as well, that's going to be a big problem for G2.
Tizian and Searson have 2 more kills than all of G2 combined. Like, it's wild. And Tizian's going to keep adding to that little stat here. We just don't have anyone on G2 in that same position, like having an incredible game right now. It feels like Big, they're so hungry for this. And that's the thing, right? Like, you go into this grand final, you're already a map down, you lose Vertigo in a very dominant fashion. And it's like, at that point, Big, it's a very horrible position to be in. You know, you're 1 map loss away from having the grand final just stripped away from you and never really having a chance. But then they take that first map of Nuke and they do it dominantly. And so coming into Dust, I think it was very, very important that Big were able to keep it in this, as you've said, like these very dominant affairs. And that's what they're looking to do here. And suddenly, you know, you've gone from being 0-2 down in a grand final, 1 map away from having it just taken off of you, to 2-2, and it all culminating on that final map. And so suddenly Big are believing, and in G2 they're in their own heads. You know, they're thinking we had to win 1 map to take this grand final once we got off to a good start. And well, now that pressure that was all kind of leaning against Big and working in G2's favor has turned against them in a very big way. This round is a real write-off. There's not much that can be done. Hunter in the 1v4 might be able to deny a bomb plant. He's waiting in this smoke. Now, he does have like the element of surprise, but there's just so many players here in the site. And he tries to take down Searson, but Tapson's got his back. It's map point for Big. 15 rounds to their name and just 1 away from locking in Mirage, our final map in this grand final series.
I'm so glad it's gone the distance, Harry. I'm so glad we get all the maps, because I'm sick and tired of the 2-0 BO5s, right? We had them before, we had them in NA, and they're always a bit too clean for us, a bit too quick. We want the long run, and boy, have Big given us that. They want to make Dust 2 a quick affair, though, and are only a round away from doing so. Set up outside of B. The bomb is long, though. We talked about opening kills on Vertigo for Big being absolutely atrocious. G2 have 3 successful opening duels in this map. Jax, who came in after Vertigo 5-1 in opening duels, has found himself 2-7 right now. So quite the comparison, quite the change. And Big, oh dear, they want it all. They want the map. They've run into B off of contact. They've gotten 2 kills with only a trade, and the bomb is joining them late.
When Tizian's spotting the rotations from T-Spawn, he's seen a player crossing. Flashes go in, and G2 try and beat Big to the punchline by just peeking ahead of this one, but Xantares is not in the mood for having this game go on any longer than it needs to. He deals with both the players that were flashed in, and at this point, Big know that Jax is in mid, because who else would have thrown the flashbang? And so as he tries to get in, he burns in the Molotov. He's brought down low. The bomb is dropped at the door. Xantares has been able to retrieve it. Jax, this is a very, very rough spot. He gets set up in the window. Tizian is watching it from the back of the site, and he's going to nail the shot. Big, they lock in Mirage. We've gone the distance in this grand final. We promised you a good one, and boy, is it delivering right now.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Mirage is a final map. Like, this has been a great series for Big, but this is where things finally turn around, I'd like to say, for G2. Like, this is a map they should be confident in, a map they should be believing in. And yeah, okay, we look at Dust as a map that pretty much whoever picks it loses it. That seems to be the consistent factor in not just this matchup, but almost any matchup nowadays. So I wouldn't say that was a huge shocker. We know Big like it, but on Mirage, if G2 can't close it out here, then there's nothing to take away from Big. They have earned their spot. G2 had 3 chances, 3 maps to find 1 after they won the opener of Vertigo, and they might drop the ball in its entirety, Harry. I imagine you're still gunning for Big at this point, but I think at this point, who even knows? It's all up in the air.
Yeah, well, you know, I think big fans would like to disagree with you there, Hugo. G2, can they bounce back? That's the big question, right? They haven't really shown us much on either of these two maps, so we're hoping Mirage can be a very different story. This would be heartbreaking if they don't get it over the line, right? Like, and that's a very realistic situation that we're in now. Mirage, coming up after a break, the final map in this grand final. You do not want to miss it. You've already watched hours of Counter-Strike. Why miss the ending? Stick around, join us for Mirage after the break.